Hello, this is Frank Neely from HeartlandDiaryUSA.com, bringing you news every conservative can use. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay up to date. This is the second part of 3 parts of Stuart Varney's Varney & Company this morning. Here, Steve Hilton talks about why and how the Democrats are trying to assume total power in this country. He calls it a form of cultural Marxism. Listen and learn.
Steve Hilton is with us, next revolution guy on the Fox News channel. I think this is basically desperation from the left. Have your say, please, Steve.
Well, you're completely right, Stuart. It's actually, you can take it further. They not only want to pack the court, as you said, they want to pack the Senate, as you said. They also, remember, want to abolish the legislative filibuster, which means that if they get enough seats, they can just ram through anything they want in the Senate. Then they want to gerrymander districts at the state legislature level. That will in turn enable them to fix the congressional districts so they never lose the House either. It is a total power grab. Where does it come from? Part of it is the total demented hatred for Trump that's become apparent over the last few years. But actually it's deeper and more insidious than that. A while ago, people started making comparisons between the economic policies of Bernie Sanders, AOC, and all the rest of them, saying it's Marxist and communist. And I rejected that. I said, look, it's not that bad. They're not talking about literally total ownership by the government of the entire economy. But it is Marxist in one sense. This is where it's coming from. It's cultural Marxism. What that means is that they do not see any alternative political ideology as legitimate. They literally don't recognize the validity of any other point of view. And that's why they believe that they can do these power grabs and say in the same breath that it's Trump who's the threat to democracy, but that's why it's so important that they're stopped.
Do you think that this could degenerate into real civil unrest?
It's not whether I think it could. They are encouraging that. Look at what they were saying in the hours and days after Justice Ginsburg's death. And not just random people on the left. This is people, you know, a former host on CNN who supports the Democrats saying we're going to burn the entire effing thing down. You've got columnists for the New York Times, the Washington Post, calling people out onto the streets. And just in case anyone got the idea they're talking about peaceful protests, they literally use the word riots. They are encouraging this. And I'll give you the worst case of how this plays out. Not just the riots themselves and the death and destruction that comes from there, but again the threat to our democracy. I now know multiple people who have said to me, of course I agree with the Trump policy agenda. I think President Trump would be the best choice for the country. But actually, I want Biden to win because I'm frightened of the violence if Biden doesn't win. What have we come to when people are talking like that?
That's extraordinary intimidation, right from the get-go.
Yes.
Steve, look, thanks very much for joining us. I'm going to cut this short because I've got Lou Dobbs coming up right behind you here. But thanks very much for being with us, Steve. Very important points raised right there.